From 1-6 to 6-1, your Detroit Lions are right on the cusp of the playoffs. Hello everyone, my name is Derek and welcome to Detroit Lions Syndicate. If this is your first time here, we talk all things about the Detroit Lions and we make content at 1-6 or 7-7, so consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. The Detroit Lions are just a half game out of the playoff picture with the win over the New York Jets yesterday. We got a little help on the back end. The Giants beat the Washington Commanders, which helped us out tremendously. The way that it's going to be now is there are 4 teams that are looking for 2 spots: the Seattle Seahawks, the Detroit Lions, the Washington Commanders, and the New York Giants. And we need something to happen this week for us to get in. First of all, foremost, we need to take care of our business and beat the Carolina Panthers on the road. But if the Washington Commanders lose to the San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks lose to the Kansas City Chiefs and we handle our business, your Detroit Lions will be in the 7th seed in Week 16. The good news is we play on Christmas Eve. We are the first game on the slate. So by that time, we can take care of our business and we just sit back and wait for the rest of the NFL to play out. And if that happens, when you wake up Christmas morning, the Detroit Lions will be in the playoffs. And if with the games that happen the rest Saturday, I don't know exactly when those other two teams play, the Commanders and Seahawks, but when they play, no matter what happens, the Detroit Lions will move in that 7th seed. If those teams lose, the Detroit Lions will remain in there when all of the Week 16 games are done. And this is a very surreal place to be in, not just the fact that we're 7-7, but how we started, but how the media is paying us all types of attention. Now, Peter King had a segment before the season started. I made a video about it, about Rich Strike. We already talked about that. And what a story. Like, it's playing out just like that. In my opinion, if the Detroit Lions make the playoffs, they will be the Rich Strike of the NFL. They're already that, really, with the way they're playing, but now we got to finish this thing. There's no reason right now that the Detroit Lions shouldn't make the playoffs. There's no reason you as a fan should not be talking playoffs. Some of you keep moving the goalposts. It was, if we beat the Giants, you'll talk playoffs. If we beat the Jags, you'll talk playoffs. If we beat the Vikings, you'll talk playoffs. If we beat the Jets, then you got to talk playoffs. Well, you got to talk playoffs. The Detroit Lions have a 37% chance right now to make the playoffs, and it will go up even more with a loss tonight by the Green Bay Packers. Shout out to my guy, Mr. Poole, for dropping me this information. We're going to listen now to a segment from Get Up. You've got Rex Ryan, Dan Orlowski, and you have Ryan Clark talking about the Detroit Lions. I do apologize for the audio. Seems very echoey in my opinion. I'm not sure why. They're in a big old studio, but you have to account for that. So it's real weird, but let's take a listen to what these gents had to say.
This is a team that was 1-6. They're now 7-7, and their only loss was a heartbreaker at the buzzer against Buffalo, which is one of the best teams in the sport. What do we say about the Detroit Lions today?
Man, nobody wants to play them. I'm telling you that right now. And you're right. How many teams 1-6? They end up folding. We're punting on the season. We're going to fire the coach. Not one time did that team flinch. Why? Because they're locked in it together. Head coach, general manager, all that. They have a direction for this football team. And I'll be a year before they expected to. Yeah. This team is playing their butts off. They don't let go of the rope. Here's their defense. Their defense, all of a sudden, they struggled all year. Right now, they had 98 pressures in the last 7 games.
They're playing much better.
So they are playing great. The offense is a joke. This offense is a phenomenal offense.
I think the thing that stands out is they're not scared of the moment. This whole football team is not scared of any moment. 2 things offensively that I love. Number 1, in their pass game, their receivers are as detailed as anybody in the NFL. They are coached phenomenally well.
Oh, say it again.
No, legit. They are phenomenally well coached. Their quarterback, Jared Goff, does one thing very good. He gets through progressions, 1 to 2 to 3. So everything is built off of that. They marry things in their offense as well as anybody. And we talk about the Jets defense as we should. They're great. That front 7 for Detroit dominated the football game yesterday.
And can we show the 4th down play? Because, I mean, that obviously, the fourth down play is unbelievable.
It's a great job. So last week it was Penny Sewell. They motioned him over, flash fake it, and they dump it off to him. This is called why hide. The big thing is the tight end's off the ball. He blocks for 3 counts. 1, 2, 3, while everybody on the defense is looking at the ball fake, and then he drifts or leaks all the way back from the backside of the defense. So you're taking a defense for the Jets that's overly aggressive. Yeah. It's 4th and inches, right? And he 3 counts and then becomes wide open. It's a great design and call.
Progression in the read.
Correct.
RC, Lions.
Well, what normally happens with bad football teams is that they find ways to lose games. And we've seen that from the Detroit Lions, especially in recent history. But when you watch this team down the stretch of this season, they're finding ways to win games. Whether it's the late throw to Penei Sewell, or if it's the why hide, if it's coming up with a defensive stop and turnovers in the red zone against Green Bay. They are a team now that has come together and learned how to play complementary football. And for all the times that you laugh at Dan Campbell and you think he's quirky, this team has taken on his personality of fighting every week, of being a tough, physical-minded football team, and a team that now, even emotionally and mentally, when they get in those late game moments, believe that they can win. And that belief is the start.
They have Carolina, Chicago, and at Green Bay to finish. The Detroit Lions have an excellent chance of going from 1-6 all the way to getting into the playoffs, which would be an incredible accomplishment.
Again, I am sorry for the audio. It sounds, I don't know what mics those were on. And another thing that really grind my gears is the breathing. You can hear it a lot. And as a content creator, you have to remember that you have to pause and take breaths that are not very quick. Otherwise, you get to. But if you didn't hear it, go back and listen to it. It drives me crazy. I have to try and work on that every time I get in front of you guys and make a video, but it's just a pet peeve of mine. But they were correct. The Detroit Lions do have a chance to make the playoffs, and now everyone is talking about it inside the organization. Dan Campbell and the players are talking about it more and more and more. The Detroit Lions have 2 separate 3-game winning streaks this year. During the first one, they didn't really talk about playoffs, but we did as fans. Now, then they lost to the Buffalo Bills, and then they came back with another 3, and from then on, Dan Campbell has been mentioning playoffs. You can hear it more and more and more, and I think he's getting more confident in saying it, and I think the players are also getting more confident as well. The Detroit Lions have a 3-game season and the ability to be 10-7 and almost guarantee a spot in the NFL playoffs if they can be 10-7. But that's a different problem for a different day. As of right now, a win on Saturday afternoon will, at least for the meantime, move the Detroit Lions into the 7th spot and will move the Washington Commanders out. If both of those teams lose when they play their games, then the Detroit Lions will enter week 17 with the 7th spot. There is a potential for the Detroit Lions to move up to 6, but they would have to win out. A couple other things would need to happen. So let me know in the comments below, how weird is it for you that we're starting to get all this attention after the rough start that we've had? And did you think that this could happen when the Lions were 1-6? Because I'm trying to remember of somebody who did. Oh, yeah, that's right, me. I was still talking about it, and I'm going to toot my own horn because it feels good to do that sometimes. And I almost forgot, Dan Campbell has now done something Matt Patricia has never done: win 7 games in an NFL season. I almost forgot. That's big news, and I completely forgot about it until now. This just in. The bandwagon is full. We are out of tickets. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself. And as always, go Lions.